The real reason why Attack on Titan changed studios. Things are getting juicy. So what's up guys, Foxen here. By your popular request, let's dive into what really happened with Attack on Titan Season 4. Recently, new information has surfaced. Oh, this is quite something. So colossal smash that like, Aaron V Freedom commands you. Flick the bell and let's jump into this. But first, today's video is sponsored by Crunchyroll. Fall anime season just started. I highly recommend Jujutsu Kaisen, a new shonen anime. Burn the Witch. Here's a lovely Bleach spin-off. Yashahime, a sequel to Inuyasha for old school anime fans. Danmachi Season 3, for anyone that needs to scratch their fantasy needs. Or catch up with some past 2020 anime. You got almost 50 high quality episodes of SAO-licization. Back into Tsubaru's adventure in ReZero Season 2, just hold the rem. Or rewatch Attack on Titan. Crunchyroll has confirmed getting Attack on Titan Season 4 when it drops. Just go ahead and click my link below or go to crunchyroll.com/foxen. That'll get you 14 days free of Crunchyroll Premium. You get to binge unlimited anime, new anime episodes as soon as 1 hour after they air in Japan. Plus, all of this is offered in ad-free 1080p HD video. As a bonus, Crunchyroll has added new memberships. I'm definitely a fan of the Mega Fan, which gets you offline viewing for anime. On top of this, I could also share my account with my sisters, which is freaking awesome. Go ahead and click below to get your free 2 weeks. Just to quickly catch you up, Wit Studio was behind the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan. This was a fairly young new studio when they first took on the first season. In between Attack on Titan seasons, they've also worked on other colossal anime like Vinland Saga, and their own original anime, the Attack on Titan-inspired Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Fast forward to earlier this year, we had the first trailer of the final Attack on Titan season. Surprisingly, there was a sudden anime studio change with it. Wit Studio passed over the Titan baton to Mappa Studio. Even before this, there were some rumors about a possible studio change, but you know, rumors and speculation always tend to arise, especially with the lack of good communication from the anime studio production. What made this really surprising was that Wit Studio themselves had not only announced the final Attack on Titan season, but also this definite 2020 fall anime debut. The new piece to this Titan puzzle comes straight from Mappa Studio. You had the Attack on Titan producers. This was released online as a web article for Japan's New Type magazine. Anime Newswork did translate a portion, and just for good measure, I did ask my Japanese editor to double check this with me. The question was asked, for the final Attack on Titan season, there was a switch from Wit Studio to Mappa. What was the situation, or simply what happened? During the production of Attack on Titan Season 3, they received this discussion from Wit Studio. This discussion that got started by Wit Studio ultimately led to the change in the studio. So already this is very telling. At least according to this article, Wit Studio was the one responsible for beginning the studio change talk. Kensuke continues, the reason is that at the end of Attack on Titan Season 3, the main character saw the sea. This was a turning point for the story. In addition, as creators, we wanted to elevate Attack on Titan even further. After discussing it together with Wit Studio countless times, we came to an understanding. But the next challenge was finding a new production company, aka new studio. Pausing it here for a second, it seems Wit Studio and the producers came to a conclusion for both of them to part ways. Kensuke continues, the 3 producers searched for this new studio separately, but most anime studios told them NG, pretty much a decline. They all knew how difficult it would be to take over this massive project, so that's why dozens of studios told them they could not accept it. So I've seen this paraded around online, that the Attack on Titan anime may be in trouble due to so many studios turning down the project, which naturally ignores practically all context. Hold on to this. Toshihiro jumps in. Of course, there were studios that were really motivated, but those studios had to refuse due to the difficult schedule. I could just see Wit Studios sighing with relief in the background. On a serious note, practically any studio wouldn't just be able to take on any new anime project with such a short notice. Not unless a different anime they were already working on got delayed or pushed back. Kensuke continues, among those studios who were interested, one studio told them, let me think about it. This was Mappa Studio. The producers discussed this possible option with Wit. Wit Studio told them, Mappa is safe, or more specifically, you can rest easy if it is Mappa Studio. The producers agreed, so the studio change happened. Tetsuya added in, Mappa told them that Attack on Titan should be finished for the sake of the fans, which really moved them. And this was ultimately followed by a small discussion about the new Attack on Titan trailer. So, how did you like them Titan apples? There's a lot to unpack here. Is this ultimately good or bad for Attack on Titan Season 4? Should you be worried or relieved? Alright, getting into analysis time. Let me emphasize the following are my own thoughts and speculation. Starting with the studio change, it smelled very much of corporate PR BS. Take it from someone that's worked in corporate for years. Clearly this was a statement meant to address the studio change topic, but without making anyone look bad. At the same time also trying to paint a positive picture, or at the very least not causing any more worry for any fan. However, once I read the Japanese article, it pretty much confirmed what I speculated last video. This Japanese article confirms the Attack on Titan studio was the one who wanted out. Again, based solely on this, Wit Studio was the one who approached the producers to bow out. Two questions arise from this: when and why? For the when question, thankfully the article does mention during the production of Attack on Titan Season 3, which gives us around 2017, around a year before Season 3 came out, up until early 2019 when Season 3 ended. I just pray to the Titan gods that they started this change topic very early on. I'm gonna strongly wager an estimate that was around the middle of 2018. The reason this is even important is because it would actually give you an idea of how much time the producers actually had to find a new studio. In case you're new to anime production, most anime studios got anime projects lined up for 2 to 3 years down the line. For bigger studios like Bones, this could be up to 4 to 5 years. Keep in mind this is a general overview, which does vary depending on each individual anime studio, especially for newer studios. The whole Big C spreading in 2020 has surely caused some changes here, especially with anime projects getting delayed. Anyway, assuming the Attack on Titan change got decided in mid-2018, and they still wanted to keep the 2020 release date, this means they needed to find a new anime studio with only a 2-year notice. Jumping ahead in the interview, they explicitly mention asking 10 plus studios. I really do want to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they asked every anime studio they had contact with, regardless of size, meaning they asked smaller studios even though they already knew they wouldn't accept. For an anime production like Attack on Titan, you really don't have dozens of studios who have the resources to take it over, especially not when combined with this very tight schedule or deadline. I mean, just think about it. Which anime studio could realistically take over? You're talking about at least 24 episodes, possibly without a break. For Ufotable, Attack on Titan will look amazing. It will then go on to win Anime of the Year, and then be ultimately hated by the popularity backlash. Oh, too soon? Seriously, Ufotable would be like winning the anime lottery. Except they're super busy with the next 10 Fate movies and Demon Slayer seasons. IG Production. This seems like the most natural fit, given their work on Attack on Titan Junior High, and also helping Wit Studio with the main Attack on Titan anime. Although Wit Studio not involved likely killed any chance of this happening right away. Bone Studio. Definitely a very capable studio. Perhaps they could squeeze in some Titans in between the other 5 My Hero Academia seasons and movies. The problem here would be scheduling. Bone Studios is definitely one of these studios that has projects lined up for like 5 years out. A1 Pictures. Did someone say Attack on Titan with more god tier animation? Unfortunately, this would actually be a pretty similar situation to the previous Bone Studio. Scheduling is a problem. Although I'd wager they have more flexibility. 2020 would just be a no-go. JC Staff. Oh hell no. Trigger Studio. Nope, not an original anime. Kyoto Animation. Unfortunately for this one, you know about the horrific tragedy for the studio. They've already had several projects delayed, and even if delays were not an issue, Kyoto Animation doesn't really do anime over one core, at least not in the same year. David Production. Sorry, too busy with the next JoJo season, hopefully, and perhaps some more Fire Force. Sunrise. Oh, too busy milking more Code Geass, making idol anime, or figuring out which new Gundam or mech anime to bust out. Studio Dean. Not unless you want another 7 Deadly Sins. Toei Animation. They're too busy stretching out One Piece or making more Sailor Moon or Precure. Sometimes Digimon. Madhouse. A studio known for great anime like Death Note, No Game No Life, One Punch Man, but to be honest, their record has been spotted since One Punch Man Season 1. It seems they lost some of their charm after several people left Madhouse. Which gets into Mappa Studio, which actually got started by a former founder and producer from Madhouse. Quickly do notice, apart from Madhouse, this list has like only 12 studios. What was that line about them supposedly asking dozens of studios? Realistically, you have like less than 10 that can handle this 24 plus episode production, which ultimately means Mappa Studio seems to be the most appropriate pick. Next up, why did Wit Studio want out? I did touch on this last time, and definitely check out that video since this is an extension to it. It really comes down to how anime studios are only contractors for a given anime, with a couple of exceptions. It's those companies that form the production committee that get the lion's share of the profit and benefits from this colossal anime hit. And honestly, I really can't blame Wit Studio too much. They really deserve so much credit and more for making this Attack on Titan anime beloved worldwide. If they were really getting so little for making it, which in turn made the studio not want to work on this anime production, I would rather a different team take over. The Attack on Titan anime pretty much put Wit Studio on the map. Despite them getting a very low speculated amount for the production, they have at least benefited by being able to get other anime projects lined up. What's most telling and revealing is really when you look at what Wit Studio has done recently. Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, along with a movie, an original anime for them. What really started as this Attack on Titan baby clone actually has grown into its own thing. The best part, Wit Studio is part of the production committee here. Vinland Saga, not an original anime, but if you did see this, you could easily tell they put more care into this compared to Attack on Titan Season 3. Wit Studio is also on the production committee here. The Great Pretender, another original anime announced back in Anime Expo 2019. Remember when cons were a thing? Wit Studio got to work on another anime they created from scratch. And best of all, they were also on the production committee. You may be seeing the pattern here. There's no real reason for Wit Studio to kill themselves fitting Attack on Titan on their anime workload, especially if they don't benefit much from it. From upcoming Wit Studio anime projects, you got Vampire in the Garden, an original anime for Netflix. Moonrise, another original anime, this one for Amazon. Practically no info is out for either. But I'll bet you one Levi buttpad, Wit Studio is on the production committee for both of those. Not to mention both of the titles are their original babies. Taking a step back from the studio change, honestly in hindsight, the production committee should have offered a piece of the pie to Wit Studio. And who knows, perhaps Wit Studio was offered a part behind the scenes, but ultimately still turned it down. I wouldn't be surprised if Wit Studio was still willing to work on the final season, but they were thinking of something like mid or late 2021, which actually makes sense given the current known anime projects for them lined up. But no, the producers wanted the final season in 2020. In the end, the poor situation resulted in Wit Studio bowing out. Let's hope that MAPPA has enough freedom to keep advancing forward. So, should you be worried? Am I worried? I actually felt that the new trailer was a great way to remove any doubt. For now. Once you got a second trailer dropped or the first few episodes out, that'll be the time where we could properly gauge whether you should be worried about MAPPA Studio behind this. But forget about that. Right now, I would say don't even worry about the season 4 anime. There's actually a few other things that you should be worried about instead if you do want to worry. A major one before anything else, the Attack on Titan finale. Ultimately, it really doesn't matter whether Wit Studio or MAPPA Studio is making the anime if the manga ends badly. And please do not misunderstand me. This is not meant to suggest that Attack on Titan will or will not end well, but I'm already sensing a decent chunk of fans that will not be happy. Without getting into the actual details, just know that fan favorite characters will be dropping left and right. How people are surprised about that for this series, I still don't understand. The second thing to keep in mind is the actual episode count, which is currently unknown, but I'm still wagering at least 24 episodes. Trust me, I know the disaster that was God of High School has some of you freaking out, but that was not MAPPA Studio's fault. They were given a mandated episode count, and then they did the best they could. Any other studio would not have done better. Wit Studio, Ufotable, it doesn't matter. If they do announce only 12 episodes for the final season, that'll be where you could just strip and go full Karen mode online. And I would be right there with you. As a few positive and more assuring things, Shuhei is returning, which is the guy that worked on the first 3 anime seasons as the 3D CG director. Really, having more people that worked on the past seasons is always a huge plus. Don't worry, Hiroyuki Sawano returns, which means another god tier soundtrack. For the voice actors, all of the Japanese voice actors will return, no worries here. And at the end of the day, MAPPA Studio is a much bigger anime studio compared to Wit. You could look at the actual trailer, or even if you put that aside, look at the past anime to get a sense of their quality. Even if you didn't like the mess that was God of High School, the animation definitely was not the issue. That said, I really do feel bad for any animator working at MAPPA Studio if the final season is not split. I could only imagine them working extreme overtime to make this final season a glowing success. Which actually reminds me of stories about the hellish season 1 production over at Wit. So if you take anything away from this video, don't worry, not yet. Let's wait for the next trailer or the episode count, and instead put your faith in Isayama delivering a great Attack on Titan finale. Since this anime is just so massive now, I do expect more juicy pieces of info like this to come oozing out. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my coverage on it. Anyway, definitely give Crunchyroll a try, 2 weeks free. It almost seems like a miracle. Being indoors so much in 2020 actually made me put a dent into my anime watch list. You could discover some great anime too, and feel free to ask below if you need any anime suggestions. But anyway, bonus. Which character are you hyped to see return in Season 4? Share it below. And yes, I will be rating and hearting. Be sure to definitely subscribe. I know like half of you aren't. Let's get to 500,000 before 2021. Watch my latest Attack on Titan manga video and my in-depth SAO Season 3 review, and I'll see you guys later.